Your systems should be nimble. Being nimble as a working mom is like expertly juggling tasks while simultaneously avoiding the Legos on the floor, or in my case, mini mermaids and fairies, because that is the stage my daughter is in right now. Just like you adjust your stride to avoid stepping on a stray toy, you should adjust your daily routine to handle unexpected challenges without missing a beat. Welcome, and let's get started with today's topic. As a full-time working mom, or just honestly a mom raising little humans in general, life can feel chaotic. With the changing of the seasons, our lives can feel like they turn upside down and systems and routines have to change. I'm passionate about being a better everyday brand because I want you to feel like you have the tools to center yourself in your life. I want you to be able to be present in your everyday. Have you ever had those days, weeks, or even months where your life feels like you're in a fog? Like you're trying to get through each day, and each day it feels like you're running through mud. You're never truly awake, and you just end up the day wondering, will you ever have memories from today? Will it be a core memory? I love the movie Inside Out, so if you think of the little gold balls when I say core memory, you're not alone. This is how my days will feel. This is how my days would feel if I didn't have the habits, routines, and systems in place to support me. It's no secret that habits are an essential part of living an intentionally conscious life. There are countless books about this. So, why systems today and not habits? I will tout the simplicity and systems of being better every day because it's not just about the habit, it's about the system underlying. Think of habits, routines, and systems like sisters, each similar, but with their own unique characteristics. Sometimes they can act like twins, and other times you can't tell them, or you can tell them apart. There are three words I will use kind of interchangeably, so let's define them before we get in. Routine. Routine is the normal order in which you will regularly do things. This is something that I would call conscious choice, right? So a routine to me is a conscious thing that you are doing. A habit is an unconscious, right? A thing that you often do and almost do without thinking, especially something that is hard to stop doing, right? We have habits that we certainly want to get rid of as much as we have habits that we want to start doing. So again, routine conscious, habit unconscious. And then systems is a set of organized ideas or theories or a particular way of doing something. So, in other words, it's the organization around the habit and routine that you're creating. I will often use the word synonymously, but today I'm focusing on the concept of systems because it'll come in a lot as I talk about the better every day, about being better every day. And the more you enter the community, the more you'll hear me use the word systems. So, why do systems matter? Yes, part of it is to get more done in less time, but let's not be productive for the sake of productivity. That is 100% what I did in my 20s. I believed in doing more. And, pre kids, I didn't really have the concept of priority of rest. I want you to be, there is a string. I want you to be more productive and efficient because we all have a ton on our plate and we can make the plate just a little bit smaller. And if that frees up more time, then you can build a life around what's most important to you. It frees up time to put the you back in your everyday so that you feel like a standalone human, not just a mom, wife, partner, employee, boss, daughter, or whatever other label you have for yourself. Systems should feel effortless and carefree over time. No, it won't feel like that on day one, for sure. But it should become a subconscious way you organize your life to create the habits you want to see. Your systems should be nimble. Being nimble as a working mom is like expertly juggling tasks while simultaneously avoiding the Legos on the floor, or in my case, mini mermaids and fairies, because that is the stage my daughter is in right now. Just like you adjust your stride to avoid stepping on a stray toy, you should adjust your daily routine to handle unexpected challenges without missing a beat. It's all about gracefully sidestepping those obstacles, whether it's managing a last minute work project or dodging a toddler meltdown, if you can. Sometimes it's not so easy. So, cheers to creating systems, to being nimble as a mom, mastering the art of maneuvering through life's little surprises. So, let's talk about the categories that I define systems in. Now we know why it matters. What are the categories? And what should you be auditing? So, the first category today that I'm going to give a disclaimer here that each of these categories are definitely their own episode. And I think as we get older in this podcast, we will be doing an episode on each of these. But Home is the first category. This is going to be the physical space you live in, right? Behind me, for those who are watching on video, I am one who believes in a well-organized home. My anxiety skyrockets if it gets too far out of hand, which is counterproductive because out of my husband and I actually am the primary plopper. So what I mean by that is who in your, maybe it's both of you, but who in your relationship tends to, like, once they're done with something, they plop it or they put it down and they don't put it away right away. That actually is me, and that would surprise probably a lot of you. I'm the one that leaves dishes on the stove 3 feet away from the sink in the middle of the day when I'm working from home. I let things pile up. And if I don't create intention around sticking to my habits and routines, I hit a breaking point with um, going through a power clean and like having to clean everything up. So even though I plop, I also like a very well organized home. So at some point, I will do a whole episode on systems and routines in the house, but I have a couple examples for you just to get your mind thinking. So the first one is daily tidy 15. Keeping a home manageable without a lot of effort requires regular tidy pickups. Yes, we do this every day. Our system, that the primary time that we do it during the day is right after dishes or right after dinner when we pivot into dishes. So my husband and I do what I call a power pickup, around 15 minutes on the main level, which is our living room, kitchen, daughter's room, and spare bedroom office, which I'm standing in right now for those on video. But that is a key part of picking up the plops from the day. And then again, we have systems around organization that help us do that power pickup. So one of those systems is organization bins. I love the home edit, so I would blame them for why I love organizational bins. I have watched the home edit multiple times on Netflix. So if you are one of those people, you are not alone. But for me, bins keep things contained and categorized, and that counts as a system for me. So we have them in our closets, we have them under our sink in our master bath, we have them to categorize my daughter's toys, and we definitely take advantage of doing resets in those areas every once in a while. That can also count as your tidy 15. The other thing that's important is having a cleaning routine. Now, this one we could be better at from a more macro basis. We hired a housekeeper that comes once a month a couple years back, and that's been the best decision we ever made because I hate cleaning. But I also plan on putting this cleaning systems as a winter improve list as I get into the winter months when we're a little less busy, because there are things that happen on a quarterly and annual basis that I don't have a great system around. So one of the places I've gotten some inspiration in the past from is Clean Mama. Her checklists overwhelm me personally because they are daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual. But it's a great inspiration to kind of know, hey, if I don't know where to start, she has a system in place to help you keep a clean home that shouldn't be overwhelming. Like I said, the amount of detail in our planners actually overwhelms me. But again, it's a great idea for inspiration. One place that everyone has that, depending on how many people you have in your house and the ages of your people, this could be a really big pain point, or maybe not one that's not a huge pain point. And that is the dreaded drop zones. So one of the most important systems you have is your plop and drop zones. With one kiddo who doesn't go to school yet, our plop and drop zones are limited to our entryway and our mail bin. Our mail gets plopped daily, and I will say our garbage mail or junk mail, that's the word I'm looking for. Our junk mail actually doesn't even typically come into the house. Both of us, when we get our mail, we plop the junk mail into our recycle bin, but our mail then gets dropped into a plop bin on a daily basis, and then we go through it weekly to pull out any bills or things we actually have to do. The other thing we have that's a major plop zone for us is our entryway, and I weed that out on a weekly basis. But if you have kids in school or multiple kids, start thinking about what your designated plop zones are when it relates to them, right? Do you have somewhere you designate for mail and their school papers? Do you have rules for where their technology gets plugged in every day and when it gets plugged in? Again, here, have a plan, create the system, create the routine, and it can become a subconscious habit. But you need to be intentional around what works for your family, especially when it comes to plop zones. Um, and then create that boundary with your family to say it has to go here, right? Or I'm not going to see it. So, 4 categories, again, from a high level: daily tidy 15, your organizational bins, having a cleaning routine, and the dreaded drop zones are 4 high level ideas of where you should be doing that audit. So look at those and think about, do you feel confident in each of these areas? And where will you be focusing on implementing a better system in the next 30 days as it relates to your house? The second category today is finances. The second category today is finances. Our financial systems have been in place for more than 10 years and it works for us. As a financial professional in corporate America, I'm super passionate about making sure you have an organized financial life. I could digress, and if you ever get me over, um, a deep-hearted chat, I was going to say over a drink, but coffee works too. I totally love talking finances with people. It could be couple finance problems. It could be what it's like to have one spouse significantly making more than the other and how it impacts behavioral finance, why you need to have life insurance if you have kids, or what you should be looking at regards to your debt. But it's not that time. So if you ever want me to go deeper on financial systems, let me know on Instagram and I can certainly do an episode about that. But let's talk just the high level systems. It's simple. In our family, I get paid on a biweekly basis. So each time that I get paid, we budget day of, and I pay all of our bills for the first or second half of the month, depending on when the paycheck hits. We manage everything that we do in Excel so that we can project out balances. I realize that's probably archaic for some people. There are certainly more automated tools like mint.com that can do it on again, where it automatically feeds in the bank transactions, but we found that Excel works best for us. In 2023, we also implemented monthly finance talks. So my husband and I both run businesses, and I want more insight into how his business is doing and how it's factored into supporting our family. We have work to improve on this habit. It is something that can cause tension. Like finances are a huge deal in marriage, but we work to improve this habit. And I actually love our monthly marriage check-ins because it's something that gives us intentional time around being on the same page. Another system that's important is savings and investing. So, do you have, first of all, from an audit perspective, do you have automatic savings and investing as a system? 42% of Americans do not have $1,000 in savings, and 50% of Americans have credit card debt with an average around $8,000 to $9,000 in debt. So if that is you, first of all, you're not alone. But second of all, let's strive to not be that statistic. So even if it's $25 a paycheck, start saving and getting a system to set it up to do it automatically. When you get paid, you're getting paid on a biweekly basis. You can schedule it to deposit on a biweekly basis, or maybe your employer offers something. Or again, if you own your own business, make sure that you're also setting finances aside for that priority. So here's your little homework. Again, that was a very high level, but financial systems are certainly an important way of being better every day, is do an audit. Where do you need more automated financial systems in your life? What tools, if any, do you need to make intentional steps towards a more solid financial life? So first, we've gone through home. Now we've gone through finances. The third, and this could be 3 and 4, depending on your life and your needs, but work and business, right? So if you work for somebody else, or if you own your own business, or if you do both, right, then that's going to be technically 2 categories. In these 2 areas in particular, for me, I would not survive without systems. Each of these categories can be definitely their own standalone episode. I've mentioned that, but I mean, content creation alone within this is a subcategory, and it's definitely a monstrosity of a system that I need in order to be productive. So let's talk basics. First bullet point would be email management. For me, it's all about folders, and more folders, and a zero inbox. And it's funny because I have a zero inbox policy, or it used to get to 0. It actually never gets to 0 anymore, but it gets down in my corporate job. I do not have a zero inbox policy in my personal life, and that's just because I don't prioritize managing my email on a personal basis as much as I should. But I have managed employees in my corporate job where I have seen literal thousands of unread emails in their inbox and just about had a heart attack. Do not and should not be in your email every hour of the day. So my system when it regards to this is I close it out when I'm doing focused work, so I don't see the ping or the notification. And then I carve out 30 minutes to an hour at the beginning and the end of each day to go through and manage my work inbox. In my business email, I'm only in it about once a day, and I only manage things that are a priority. It's definitely something that don't prioritize. So every once in a while, usually about once a month, I actually do an email clean out of my business email and get things all sorted and organized. Now, it should be no surprise that the second system that's super important for work and business is your daily focus 3. You need to start your day knowing what you're doing. I can't stress this enough. I have managed employees, again, I'm going from experience here, where they just look at their inbox and figure out what it's telling them to do. But you should be aligning your to-dos to your own priorities and deadlines for the day. Don't know what the daily focus 3 is, head back to the Better Everyday 5 Habits episode and I will explain it. But again, even if you have an 8 a.m. meeting, then you need to be logging in at 7:45 and figuring out what are your to-dos outside of your meetings, right? Then when you have a break, you can just focus on those instead of getting dragged down by other people's priorities. The third massive system that I am still ebbing and flowing and perfecting is content management. And obviously, this is for my business, not my corporate job. So this one is specific, obviously, to small business owners who manage content. But this is where you need to have efficient and productive systems in place for everything you create: blogs, emails, podcast episodes, social media content, and YouTube videos, depending on what you do. Each of these should have their own system and workflow to manage. If you need improvements, this is where you'll do your audit, right? Of figuring out, where am I receiving hiccups in this process? What is not working for me and what is working for me? For example, one of the things that I will be doing now that I have a podcast and YouTube that has developed in the last couple of months is I will be editing my planner to create workflows around these processes on a monthly basis, and they will be integrated workflows. So instead of having a standalone checklist for YouTube and podcast, because I'm duplicating the effort there, my YouTube and podcast workflows will be commingled, right? So being able to customize my own planner, I'm able to create an efficient system where I can track my progress on my content pillars for or content pieces for the month. But I need to build the system to be able to do that. Otherwise, I feel overwhelmed with the amount of to-dos and possibility of missing things like the YouTube thumbnail or creating the caption, right? Or any of that kind of information. So remember, with all of this, whether you work a corporate job or have your own business, it's use your tools. My corporate job doesn't have access to a project management system. And because I'm securities licensed, I'm not allowed to use an external third-party software. So my best friend in my corporate job is OneNote because we are a Microsoft-based company. Whatever you are using, whether you have access to it internally at your corporate job or again for your own professional career, it could be OneNote, Slack, Monday.com, Trello, Asana, or a paper planner. Whatever works for you, implement it and approve on it, because having the systems will create that productivity in your business and in your corporate job so that you do have time at the end of the day for you. The final, nope, there's 2 more. The other area in my life where I see systems being extremely apparent is in health and fitness. So when I say health and fitness, what do you think? You probably think it's drinking water and working out, but it's so much more to me. Health and fitness is a foundation of taking care of you mentally and physically. I honestly can't wait to dive into each of these in more detail because, again, it's something that I've been passionate about for as long as I can remember. But when you're looking at your own health and fitness, what habits do you want personally for each of your internal, so what I mean, mindset, mental health, and external from a physical perspective, right? A small example in my life is I have a hard time remembering to take my anxiety meds and multivitamins every day. So actually, my sister-in-law recommended that I move my vitamins to the bathroom so that when I'm getting ready, I would see it and remember to take it. I also then had to bring a glass for water to the bathroom because otherwise I wouldn't take them either. And that may seem dumb to some people, but that little shift from the kitchen to the bathroom made all the difference because I can see it there and I know I'm in a place where I have a cup and I can just do it right away. I don't like having it in the kitchen because it goes into this little shelf thing and then I don't see it. I need to be able to see it or my habit doesn't happen. Another example is I plan out my workouts on Sunday each week, so I know what my movement will be each day. The One that is pretty consistent in my life is also meal prep. So for me, it always happens on Sundays if I am meal prepping, and we have a system in place to plan out dinners for the week depending on our schedule. So each week, I know what our dinners are, what my lunch plan is, and what my movement is before the week even starts. I could probably name 40 plus habits, routines, and systems as it all relates to health and wellness for me, from skincare to the morning routine to vitamins and mindfulness to the Calm app, right? All these are all systems to help support me in being better every day. So, homework time. Now and every month, take 10 minutes to look at the intentions around your health and wellness. What is something you want to focus on for the next 30 days, and what's a system that can support that? Do you want to use supplements as the example, or build a habit out of 10K a day? Sorry, 10,000 steps a day. So try setting an alarm twice a day. So, for example, if you are having a hard time getting 10,000 steps a day, try setting an alarm twice a day on your phone for a step check and a 10-minute break. So, for me, because I work from home the majority of the days, right, I at least twice a day will go out for a 10-minute walk. That 10-minute walk helps my mental health, but it also helps me create a system where I'm more likely to meet my 10,000 step a day goal since I'm in front of a computer all day. The final category is family. Let's talk about systemizing your family. No, I'm just kidding. Family systems can range from everything to plop zones, which we talked about earlier, to no phone zones after school. What helps you and your family create intention and consciousness as a family union? What systems do you need to support the chaos of your everyday? Do you have a weekly family audit about upcoming weekend schedule? Do you communicate with your spouse of who needs to do what drop-offs? One of the systems that I have put in place that was a priority to us is monthly date nights. Actually got this idea from an Instagram friend, Lindsay, the owner of Fashion Fix Minnesota. So we now plan monthly dates outside of the house where we can rotate whose job it is to plan the date. It takes the onus off me every other month, but it also helps us connect and remind us who we are outside of being parents. That planning actually also includes scheduling with the babysitter, right? So if it's my husband's month, he has to pick the day, the babysitter, and the activity. It's a simple system, but it makes a huge difference in us having the ability to connect. I don't have kids in school yet, but as the seasons change, this category will become imperative to managing the chaos of every day, especially with schools. So, family audit time. What systems do you need in place for school schedules, chores, and connecting as a family? What is one you could take a step towards implementing this week? So, let's recap. Systems will help you become more productive so that you can prioritize what matters to you most, not just the tasks we can call adulting. I'm inherently a discombobulated human. Without my system, I forget everything and my anxiety skyrockets. So they are essential to my everyday life. They are meant to be nimble, audited as your life grows and changes. They are a twin sister to habits. You can't have one without the other, and they are a cornerstone of being in the better everyday community. So here's a reminder that yes, life is messy. Sometimes we are all feel like we are failing, but here's to implementing the simplicity of systems and being better every day.